All right, for our next cookie, we're gonna be doing it in 3 steps. We're gonna make a vanilla cookie dough, a chocolate cookie dough, and then we're gonna take those 2 doughs, like a checkerboard or an ice box. In this case, we're gonna do a bullseye. So I'm gonna show you guys how to do a bullseye cookie at home. Those wonderful expensive cookies that you see in those tubes that have the bunny rabbits and this other, the Easter egg shape, whatever you want. This is how they do it. So we're gonna go through the process, but it's gonna be in 3 steps. First, we're gonna make the vanilla dough. The vanilla dough is gonna be a lot like we did the sugar cookie dough in our other video. Powdered sugar, room temperature butter. And after you get that room temperature butter in there, once again, we're gonna lift that. We're gonna go ahead and cream that. We'll talk a little bit about some of the ingredients here. So for the vanilla one, I've got some almond flour in here. Why? Me personally, it gives a little bit of texture. It makes a little bit of speckles so it doesn't look so white clean. You can omit the almond flour if you want to and use regular flour in its place. But be careful how long you mix it. It can make it a little tough. And what happens is your vanilla dough will shrink and your chocolate dough won't. So you'll end up with these really weird, distorted visions in your cut dough. All right? So after we get this mixed, once again, we're just taking it to that creamy texture like we did with the sugar cookie dough. And since our butter is room temperature, that's gonna help. I've got my bag here to put my vanilla dough in. And I've also got a bag for my dark chocolate dough. We'll be making that one separate in the next video. So once that comes together nice and clean, I can go ahead and drop in my vanilla. And then I can drop in my egg. Stop the bowl, make sure everything's good and clean. Good. Then I can go ahead and drop in my dry ingredients. Once again, there's no leavening agent. I don't want it to spread and I don't want it to rise. I want it to stay in place. So this is an ice box cookie. It's one of the other cookies we'll be doing. So set that up. Turn it on. And once that dough comes together, we'll be able to scrape it out and place it into our package, and we'll put that away into the refrigerator. It is icebox cookies. Now it's kind of like the sugar cookie dough, and we've made those cookie doughs. They're ready to go. On our first part of the video, we showed creaming and making the 2 doughs up. The second part here is the actual makeup. Now, there's lots of different ways. There's checkerboard, there's swirls, there's bullseye. In this case, we're gonna kind of do like a nice little swirl cookie. So I've got the white dough here that's already been rolled out in a rectangular shape. Your recipe, you should be able to roll out both the white dough and the chocolate dough to roughly about the size of a 1/4 sheet pan. So I'm gonna dust the chocolate dough up and show you just how easy it is to get these shapes. So I came straight out of the fridge with the dough. It's a little firm, which is kind of what you want. Once again, going from the middle out. And then I can turn this dough. And what I'm trying to do is kind of get both doughs the same thickness and see that they're going to match up like that. So with that being done now, I'm going to get off any excess flour that I've got on the outside. I'm going to take a little bit of water. And if you've got too much to start, just brush it a couple times. What this does is it causes the 2 to kind of glue together. So now I'm going to take this, put it right on top so that that becomes one sheet. And then I can come back in with an offset spatula and I can trim any edges. Now obviously the edges, you can mix those together and make a 2-tone like marble kind of effect if you want to. And then I'm gonna take this block and I'm going to roll up. You can actually get 2 rolls out of this. I'm gonna cut it right down the middle here. And I can pull this whole sheet and I can do some this way. So it's just like we were doing our our cinnamon rolls. I usually like to take that last edge, just make sure that it's going to seal for us really, really well. And if you do this while it's nice chilled, you should end up with a nice roll, nothing too distorted. If the dough gets too soft on you, you can always drop it back in the fridge. What we're going to do now is we're going to take these 2 logs, we're going to put them in the fridge and let them sit for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then we'll come back and cut the portions and go ahead and get those in the oven. So after the dough is chilled, and you can see it's kind of firm, it doesn't really distort when you cut, I'm going to take a sharp knife and I'm going to go ahead and cut pieces that are about just over 1/4 inch thick, maybe like between 1/4 and 3/8. And as you cut those, you can see that the actual the marking is it's astounding. It looks really cool. We're going to put these on a pan, give them a little bit of room because they will relax and spread just a bit, and we'll bake these till they're golden brown. Little trick from me to you, I like to put the whites and the darks together because as this outside edge starts to get a little golden brown, I know they're done. You'll also notice here my scraps, what I've done here is just a nice little swirl cookie. These are nice, and they work out really, really well. Same bake time. All I've done is taken the scraps, mashed them all up, put them into a tube shape, and then chilled that as well. So we'll go ahead and get these in the oven. All right, so we've come out of the oven here. And you'll notice that they are golden brown right around that edge. One of the things that I do tell a lot of folks is when you're doing things like cookies and brownies and cakes, and of course we talked about that in week 1 with some of our breads, is you want to get them off the paper or off the pan at least and onto a cool surface. So what I'm going to do here is pull the paper itself straight onto the top surface. And then I've got the one that I pulled out ahead of time. And you can just go ahead and arrange those cookies. Make sure when you've got a nice design like this, you can see the difference between that or this and actually putting the designs so that they match up. It's really impressive. One of the reasons why you're doing this is to impress your guests. It always makes them wonder, how did they get those swirls like that? And when you set it up like so, this really does drive that impact home of how those cookies should look. So put that right there, and then we can put some of our swirl bullseyes, just kind of stack those up in the middle. And so there you have it. That's your bullseye cookie or your swirl cookie today. You could also try this in checkerboard. There's a thing in the book on how to do it. I will suggest that if you're going to do that, find some wooden dowels or something so that you get nice, clean levels before you build. Have fun.